The world feels loud, not because it's speaking, but because it never shuts up. You wake up already tired, not from work, from noise you didn't choose. Everyone reacts, everyone argues, everyone has an opinion about things they can't control, and slowly, without noticing, you start doing the same. You call it awareness, you call it staying informed, but deep down, it feels like losing your balance. The Stoics lived in chaos too. Wars, betrayal, uncertainty. They didn't escape it. They learned how to stand inside it without being dragged around by it. Not by fighting the world, but by changing where they place their attention. Because chaos doesn't destroy people, reaction does. And once you see that, the noise doesn't disappear, but it stops owning you. Chaos isn't an event. It's not the news. It's not other people. Chaos is what happens when your attention is pulled in 10 directions and never returns. Two people can live in the same world. One feels constantly overwhelmed. The other remains steady. The difference isn't intelligence, or luck, or strength. It's where they place their focus. Most people believe chaos comes from outside, so they keep reacting, explaining, defending. They argue with reality as if it's listening. The Stoics notice something uncomfortable. You don't lose peace because life is unstable. You lose it because you expect stability from things that were never meant to provide it. Other people, outcomes, timing, recognition. So the mind stays tense, always alert, always bracing for the next disruption. And that constant tension becomes normal. You stop noticing it. You just feel tired. This is why chaos feels exhausting. Not because it's intense, but because it never ends when you live inside reaction. And most people do. Why most people need chaos? Chaos does something useful. It keeps you busy. When everything feels urgent, there's no time to look inward. No time to notice dissatisfaction or regret, or the quiet feeling that something is off. Chaos gives people a role, a position, something to react to. It makes life feel meaningful without asking for responsibility. Stillness is different. Stillness removes excuses. It takes away the noise that usually absorbs your attention. And when that happens, you're left alone with yourself, your choices, your patterns, your compromises. That's why many people avoid calm. Not consciously, instinctively. They scroll, they argue, they stay busy. Not because they enjoy it, but because silence would force clarity. The Stoics understood this. They didn't seek chaos, and they didn't fear it either. They simply refused to let it decide what deserved their attention, because the moment you stop feeding chaos, it loses its grip. Not immediately, but inevitably. Stoicism isn't emotional distance, it isn't suppression, and it isn't pretending not to care. It's precision. The Stoics made a quiet distinction most people never slow down enough to make. What is mine to carry and what is not? They didn't waste energy on outcomes they couldn't command, or on opinions they couldn't control. Not because they were detached, but because they were disciplined. Most suffering doesn't come from events. It comes from resistance, from wanting reality to behave differently than it does. So the Stoic doesn't fight the current, and doesn't drift with it either. They stand where they still have footing. Attention, judgment, response. That's the position. From there, chaos still exists, but it stays external. It doesn't cross the boundary unless it's invited. and most people invite it constantly without realizing it. Here's the quiet contradiction. You understand this, at least on some level. You know reacting drains you. You know most things aren't worth the energy, and yet you still react. Not because you're weak, but because reaction feels familiar. It feels active, engaged, alive. Calm, on the other hand, feels empty at first. When you stop reacting, there's a strange gap. No outrage, no urgency, no external signal telling you what to feel next. Just space. And in that space, old thoughts return. Unanswered questions. Decisions postponed for years. A sense that some things in your life were never truly chosen. So people return to chaos, not because it hurts less, but because it distracts better. The Stoics didn't deny this pull. They noticed it. They saw that the hardest battle isn't against the world, it's against the urge to escape yourself. Chaos doesn't ask for your permission, but it only has power if you keep answering it. Life doesn't become quieter. People remain unpredictable. Events stay uncertain. Outcomes stay out of your hands. But something changes. You stop rushing toward every signal. You stop explaining yourself to noise. You stop mistaking reaction for strength. The world keeps moving, and you remain where you are, steady, clear, unmoved by what never deserved control in the first place. If you liked this video and want more content like this, I'd really appreciate a like, a subscription, and a share. And if you made it all the way to the end, write this in the comments: Chaos doesn't own me.